Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because it
teach people like, hey, it's okay, change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
How you think you are. 27 days to radically shift your thinking and upgrade your life. More wealth, health, love, and joy.
Your course is the first course that I don't mind repeating again and again and again.
Click on the link for the special offer or visit the website at www.arvettemclean.com. Greetings and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is yoga flow. And I have Deborah sitting here in her yoga pose. How are you, Deborah?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you, Arvette?
I'm doing well. You look very yoga-like.
Thank you. Yes.
So obviously, you practice yoga. So what actually got you started? What was the spark for you to practice yoga?
The spark that got me to practice yoga, ironically, was the fact that I was during exam week in college. I was in the middle of exams and I was super stressed out about it. So it was a high level of stress for me that brought me to the practice of yoga, which has helped me find ways to de-stress, or yoga assists in my de-stressing. So it was my cousin that brought it to my attention, my cousin Naya, and I've been doing it ever since. And that was in 2006. So it's been more than 10 years now. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
That is awesome.
Yep.
I actually, the first time I ever gave yoga, and I really never gave it any thought for a long time. But I remember years and years and years ago, and I won't even try to put a date on it. On the Oprah Winfrey show, she had people come on doing yoga, and she was saying how, or they were explaining how, people just drop like tremendous amounts of weight from doing yoga, and I just couldn't understand that. I'm like, you're not doing anything. And so, but because Oprah said it, it was just kind of stuck in the back of my mind. And then years and years and years later, one of my girlfriends gifted me a yoga book where literally you're doing yoga from a book. And because I'm the type of person that likes to run and jump and be outside and that type of thing, I was just like, oh my goodness, I do not want to do this. But because it was a gift, I decided to do it, and it was a 28-day plan. And so for 28 days in a row, I did it, and I just fell in love with it.
Yes, it is a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see why you fell in love. I did too. Yes, yes. So I wanted to give just a little bit of background about yoga itself and what I've learned about the history. Originally, when it was introduced to me, it was through a private yoga studio in the area, and they had pictures of all these different yoga gurus from India on the walls. and we were doing yoga in group settings. So it was like a class of 14 or more people, fewer than 20, but at least 14 people. And so then my understanding is that it came from India. Um, but then as I done further research, I found that it actually is from Egypt. And so it originated in Africa. And it goes back further than the time frame um, that most people think, which is like 5,000 years ago in India. It goes back 10,000 years.
Nice.
Um, and the original purpose for yoga is to allow energy to flow through you and allow your body to heal itself and to release stress and to function at its highest ability. So, um, so I think I was introduced to the more westernized portion of yoga, and then over time, I did my research and learned that um, the way yoga is practiced in the Western civilization in groups is not the original purpose. It's generally practiced alone, or maybe no more than groups of 2 or 3 people. So it has a little bit more meaning to it. There's more meditation purposes involved in yoga, the original forms of yoga as well. And the focus is on the breath more so than the movements. So Western civilization, we focus on all these fancy poses and how we're moving through yoga. They have different types. Vinyasa yoga, is supposed to be more like of a dance form or a flow form of yoga. But the original purpose is not so much the form more than it is the breath and the mind body connection.
Yeah.
So,
And I also heard that the word yoga actually literally means to yoke with God, or to connect, or to unite with God, and that doing
absolutely.
yoga originally or traditionally is an offering to God.
Mhm. Yes, it is. It's an offering of self, because God knows your body more intimately than anyone or even you at times. So you're releasing and giving yourself to God, so that you connect with God, and you're listening to the guidance God is giving you about your body, and that allows you to organically flow into the different poses to allow your body to then have better blood circulation, um, you know, a better skeletal posture. And that all connects to allowing the body to heal whatever's ailing it at the time. So you're absolutely right.
Yes.
You're willing yourself to God. It's beautiful.
Right. So I know a lot of times people think, first of all, it's kind of like a stereotype as to what a person who does yoga looks like. And we pretty much think of people who do yoga as usually white females, slender.
Hmm. Yes.
And so we don't think of that people of all body types, all colors, and also we think that, we're not flexible enough to do yoga. I hear
Hmm.
that a lot. I can't move my body like that. Nobody can move their body like that until they start doing yoga.
Right. Yes, it's a practice. Absolutely. Yep. So that is a good topic to bring up, the misconception, because then that kind of deters people from even wanting to try it, because they're like, oh well, I'm not that shape. It's maybe for those groups of people that look like that. I don't look like that.
Right.
And yeah, I can't make my body do that. Well, you don't know until you try. And then the more you do it, the better you get,
Yes.
you know, the easier it gets.
And it
And
happens
yes,
much quicker than you would think, or than I would think, because like I said, I started off with a 28-day program, and what I could do on day 1 compared to what I could do like um maybe day 14, it was just amazing, just the changes that happened in like 2 weeks.
exactly. I can only imagine. Yep. It does change quickly. And I think the timing or why it moves so fast is because you're connecting your mind and your body to together, you know.
Mhm.
um, your your mind becomes in sync, the muscle memory of your body. So it doesn't take much to continue it and to change it. So it doesn't take much time at all.
Yeah. Now, I actually had a couple of different experiences. So, like I said, I started off by myself, and in that, um, for example, it might say to hold the pose for 60 seconds, and
Hmm.
so I'm literally counting to 60. But then,
Hmm.
when I try to integrate into, let's say, in a yoga class, they're telling me when the time is up.
Hmm.
So for me, that was a whole different experience because I think me actually counting, it really helped me to focus my mind, to clear my mind, that type of thing. But if there's like a buzzard that's like your time is up, I know it's gonna ring, then my mind is not as focused on what I'm doing as when I'm actually doing the counting myself.
Right, exactly. So there you have it. it's it's like mind over matter process. You know, you're kind of convincing your mind it doesn't matter because you're focused on something completely different than other than what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a part of what you were saying about the Western way versus, I guess, the traditional way. And we do
Hmm.
tend to think more of the physical, which it has amazing physical benefits, way beyond flexibility and blood circulation. But the benefits to yoga, you can just go on and on and on ad nauseum of all the benefits that it has,
Yeah,
physical benefits. But then it also has that whole other component.
it does. Yes. And some of the poses don't have to be that complicated for you to have a lot of natural benefits to them.
Mhm.
Um, there's a pose that um, is called the pose of immortality, and it's just a simple. It's more so about posture than anything else. So that allows you to align your spine in correct order and open your rib cage more because you're sitting up straight. And so that's allowing more air to flow. And then more air and oxygen that you get into your body helps with your blood circulation, which then, is connected with your heart circulating all the blood and that type of thing. So it's simple postures like that will make a big difference when you're doing it every day or at least every other day for 10-20 minutes, just holding the posture and breathing. And the meditative state can come differently for different people. So like you were talking about, just kind of counting to yourself, you kind of get in that moment or in that trance of just focusing on the numbers, that you're counting. So that's a form of meditation because you're completely allowing everything else around you to kind of fall, out of your awareness because you're now zoned into focusing on the numbers. In yoga, traditionally, it's focusing on the breath, as I mentioned before, um, and to take a deep breath in and out. Again, that whole mind body connection with the circulatory system, with the breathing in and out. Um, it all connects. And it's a simple pose, but it does wonders for the body just by, aligning yourself and allowing the air to flow in and out and just giving your time that space and um, stillness, giving yourself a stillness. We all have busy lives. So yoga is another important way to just sit still for the moment.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Tame that mind and body. And then also you're talking about the breath and like we're so used to doing shallow breathing, like it's normal for us to just use small parts of our lungs. I think we only use about 30% of our lungs, but I think when we are doing the yogic breathing and we're breathing through our belly and all of that, then we are using a much larger portion of our lungs.
Yeah, we absolutely are. expanding the diaphragm, getting in more oxygen. It's all a part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did want to mention too about the oxygen, or like why would it cause weight loss, for example? Um, like I said, it has so many benefits, but people love to hear about weight loss. But
Yep.
some of the poses, like you were saying, they're so easy to do and simple. It's nothing that's a big deal. But like some of the inverted poses, or poses where you're having your feet up in the air and you're
Mm-hmm.
allowing the blood to flow down, or
Mm-hmm.
poses that cause you to kind of um, get blood to your thyroid gland, that helps to, I guess, pick up a sluggish thyroid and
Mm-hmm.
get your metabolism going like that. And then it helps with, like, if you're doing like let's say headstands. Well, headstands, that's not simple. But if you're just like bending over where your head is like towards the ground or towards your knees, you're getting that flow of blood to your head and getting that oxygenated blood. And then that just helps so many ways with your memory and alertness and that type of thing.
It does. Yeah, it's incredible. I
Yeah.
encourage everybody to try it. Take at least, and you don't even have to leave. That's the wonderful thing about it, is you don't need a lot of equipment. Just get in some comfortable clothes. You don't even have to leave the house. How many of us are not leaving our homes a lot these days? There's so many resources, YouTube videos, even Netflix has like a yoga channel, where it's just constant, different yoga poses, different yoga themes. Um, and our Western civilization is obsessed with marketing and selling it, although it wasn't meant to be sold, but they have created so many different, like, yoga categories, so yoga for pregnant women, um, yoga specific poses for different ailments. So yoga for back pain, and as you were saying, like yoga for weight loss. So there's no excuse to not at least try it, because there's so many different categories that you can relate to try to make you, or to try to allow you to have some type of connection, to give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if for no other reason, it's the quietness and the alone time to allow you to hear God and allow God to tell you, okay, this is how your body needs to move right now, to allow you to help it, be at its best, and to heal anything that's out of balance.
Yeah. Awesome. And then
Mhm.
also, you have mentioned the postures, like well, you said a posture pose, for example, but I also know that we speak about the spiritual part of yoga and we speak about the body part. But a lot of times we don't think about the emotional part of yoga.
Mm,
We too tend to
mhm.
think of stress and anxiety and how it helps with that. But also, some of the postures that you can do will cause you to put your body in such a way that your body will release the tension and the old stories that's held in your tissues. It's kind of like your body holds on to the stories of the past. And so different poses can help you to release the blockages and allow those things to just move on. And so when you were saying about the posture pose, it made me think of a particular pose where you just kind of like opening your chest up or whatever. And like they say that particular pose is good for broken hearts. And so just the process of just letting your chest expand, that does help heal a broken heart. Or like the pigeon pose, which is a lot of different ways you can do the pigeon pose, but the pigeon pose ends up opening up your I would say like your pelvic region. And in that area, there's like a lot of nerve endings there. And so we hold a lot of emotional stuff right there. And so the pigeon pose actually will help you to open that area up and kind of release stuff that's just stagnant as far as emotional blockages.
That is so true. I think some cultures or studies may talk about it as being blocked energy. Yeah. So the pose allows you, just like you said, to focus on putting it in a correct position or a open position to unblock the area that the energy is maybe stuck in and causing chronic issues, and that helps it to release. That's a beautiful thing. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is really important for people to realize that emotion can get stuck in the body as trapped energy and cause illnesses or cause fatigue, cause headaches, and there's a lot of different poses out there to help ail that. So that is important. So another reason for you all to try it.
And do you have any poses you want to show us, or any tips that you want to share, or anything like that?
Yeah, so I will share just one simple pose and I'm kind of already in it, but just one simple pose to allow one to be encouraged that a simple pose, a yoga pose is easy and helpful. And and in a way it does help with the breathing and, just relax the hip flexors more so than anything. So I'll see if I can get into the pose so that everyone can still see me, but it's called the tree pose. Okay, I think you can still see. Yeah. I'll move my mat a little bit. And you just simply, you start off in this position, and you can put your foot here and then move your arms this way. And you want to kind of expand your fingers to the point where you're envisioning them like branches on a tree, and your fingers are the leaves, and just spread them out as wide as you can, and you can feel the tension release in your fingers, and your head is up high, and you just hold the pose and slowly breathe in and out. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can put your foot here by your knee and raise your arms higher. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can raise your leg a little further. And you'll just hold the pose for about 60 seconds and breathe. And then you'll slowly put your arms to your side, and then you just switch to the other side. So you can start here, you can start with the knee here, or you can bring your foot higher and just slowly bring your arms up and hold. So this is the tree pose, and it is helping you stretch your hip flexors here. It's opening up your rib cage so that you can get nice deep breaths in here, and you're getting a little bit of exercise in, because you'll want to do either side once or twice. So you're stretching, blood circulation. There's other alternatives. You could do a prayer pose. You can hold your hands here. You can even take your hands and put them in the back so that your hands make a prayer this way too. So there's different ways, but it really all is your comfort level and what feels good to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you're getting a little bit of exercise in, and I know from experience that you can make it so that it's a little bit of exercise, or you can make it so that it's a lot more, it's more than a little, because just standing on one foot, like, you can tell that you've been practicing for a lot of years, but any of us could just, stand on one foot, and then you would kind of start wobbling after a while. And so your muscle has to figure out how to stabilize itself. So that in itself It can take some
Yeah.
muscle to do that, which is why people build a lot of muscle in yoga. You get really
Hmm.
strong doing yoga, which
Yeah.
if you're just looking at it, you wouldn't think so. But once you start trying it, it's like, oh, okay, I can feel that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
So
that
it
was
could be a total workout.
yes, that was beautiful, Deborah. So
Thank
thank
you.
yeah, thank you. Did you have any closing comments?
Um, I really don't. I appreciate, uh, your input on the discussion. You're well versed. You had a lot of really good things to say that were all true and all, I think, motivating and inspiring things um, that sometimes people need to hear, because a lot of times people get one image of yoga, like you said, and then it's kind of dismissed. But there's so many benefits for people of all shapes, colors, and backgrounds. So
Yes, yes, it is. And I love yoga as well. Like I mentioned before, I am not a avid practitioner of it. I practiced it for like 3 years in a row, probably missing like not hardly any days at all. But then I had gotten an injury from something else, and then I ended up having to go into physical therapy, which knocked me out of my yoga routine. And so, and so since
wow.
that time, I'll go back to yoga maybe for like 3 months, and then I'll fall back off, and then I'll go back on, and I'll fall back off. But I really do love it, and I love how it makes my body feel, and I love the calming effect that it has, I guess, on my entire system. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Namaste. Thank
Yes,
you.
namaste. And actually, if you can tell people, what does namaste mean?
Oh, yes. So namaste is like a greeting or a closing where you're basically honoring the light that you see in others. So I honor the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste. So, guys, I hope you actually did that pose with Deborah, and I hope you will just maybe you can just Google some videos on YouTube or wherever, and just pick a couple of poses and get started. You'd be very surprised, and you may can only move an inch today, and probably if you're practicing it regularly in a month, it'll be a huge difference, and it has so many benefits. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. So until next time, this is our vet.
This is Deborah.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.